This is our Enterprise Watch segment. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Honorable Mangoba Khumalo, last week announced a significant allocation of 200,000 emalangeni. This is in support of the creative industry in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Now, the funding is channeled through the Eswatini Copyright and Neighboring Rights Society, which is aimed at providing financial support to artists and creators in Eswatini. Now, the government's move has been met with widespread interest, particularly regarding how the money will be distributed, who will be eligible, to access it, and whether it will be enough to meet the needs of these, of this sector. Now, to answer these questions and provide clarity, Meli Hlanze, the Executive Director of the Eswatini Copyright and Neighboring Rights Society. Meli, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I think as we open this conversation, we are privy of the long-standing challenges and structural support for your sector. Is this money enough to address those challenges?
Well,
if it's for that.
It is not enough, but I think we should understand the principle of what is happening. It's a start.
Right.
So I'd want to maybe remind the viewers that as a society, our mandate is not only to collect and distribute the royalties for the artists, but it's also to set up necessary infrastructure that can help develop the industry. Part of such initiatives involves having development funds. So in essence, the society would have to wait to accumulate funds from collections in order to establish the fund. But what the government has done through what the Honourable Minister announces to say, we won't wait for that to happen, but we will seed the fund into existence. So this is a seed really that the government is committing to say, we are really just getting the ball rolling. And then as a society, we still have a mandate to make sure that the fund appreciates beyond the 200,000 that has been seeded by the government.
Maybe we'll get into, how you plan to do that. But can you clarify for us? Yeah. I did premise and preface this conversation with a widespread question regarding, who is eligible. So can you clarify for us which artists and creators are eligible for this type of funding?
So there will be an eligibility criteria that we'll develop and share with the public. But in essence, the clearest one that I can give is that you have to be a member of the Eswatini Copyright and Neighboring Rights Society, ESWACOS. So in essence, the fund is to empower artists, but through ESWACOS. I think our viewers will remember that ESWACOS does whatever it does through a membership. And this is something that the minister also did during Copyright Day last week, was to unveil the first cohort of applicants to the society, which is 52 members. And we're looking to grow this membership beyond just the 52 as we roll it out on a national wide basis, because we had only done a pilot based on the artists that had participated in our surveys and in our workshops. But over the next 3 months, we're looking to roll it out nationally. And then once you become a member of the society, you will be eligible, together with some of the other requirements that we will be sharing with our members and the public.
Before we even see if you are really eligible, the prerequisite is you being a member. Yeah. I think that is important to emphasize for the creative industry there to know. But let's be frank here, and I'm glad that the position that you hold there puts you in the right place to answer this question. There's always a big concern around public funds regarding particularly transparency and accountability. What mechanisms are in place to make sure that indeed there is transparency and accountability in the distribution of these funds?
Well, first and foremost, we work with a board that oversees all the decisions we make. So first and foremost, we're accountable to the board. Secondly, we are accountable to the ministry through the Copyright Office. And then thirdly, once we've established our membership, the society will have AGMs in which the General Assembly will be able to get that review of the annual reports and our annual audited statements. So these are all things that will be available not only for our members, but also other stakeholders to look into. But so far, I can attest that there's nothing to be worried about.
Melly, given right now what I would call the most rich and talented cohort of filmmakers and musicians. I mean, you look at our music industry right now, some really, really great artists, and they are very diverse. It's pretty much the same thing with our film industry. We are seeing some beautifully made local films, very compelling and engaging content. You look at the money, it's 200,000 involved.
Yeah.
And you call it the creative industry as an umbrella. How do you make sure that you distribute this money fairly and evenly?
So from the 200,000 that has been seeded by the ministry, 100,000 will specifically go into supporting the development of short films. Okay. As you have mentioned, that we have a rise in a lot of short films that we're seeing online by local independent filmmakers. So that fund will be made available to them to support. I think it's important to note that the fund doesn't necessarily replace the need to still secure funding elsewhere.
Absolutely.
But it supports the initiatives to say, in whatever you've been able to do in the past, now there's a boost over and above that. And the other one, which I think I can speak to even more so, is the other 100,000, which will be to fund the creation and promotion of new works.
Okay.
We want a situation where users of local content are spoiled for choice. So we realize that we need to seed the creation of new works. So the other 100,000 will specifically go towards creating new works and will be broken down into seeds of about small grants of about 5,000 emalangeni.
Okay.
So in essence, you're looking at helping 20 creators or artists to either create a new song, shoot a new music video, and, you know, maybe just to touch on your other question, of course, we know it's not enough, but it's a start. We're moving from a place where there was little to no support to now saying, here's this added support to help flood the local market with quality local content.
I think the consensus here is that 200,000 is a start, but we can say it's a drop in the ocean. And I know, given some of the internal assessments that you're alluding to, surely there should be a benchmark or a ballpark estimate of this is how much we need really to meet the momentum that we really need. And I want you to answer how much that would be, but also I do want to understand how one becomes a member and how many members you have right now. So this is a three-part question.
So firstly, in terms of our current membership, like I mentioned, we have 52 prospective members.
52?
So the process of membership is dictated by the Act, in which we have to advertise the membership to the public for a period of 60 days, because in being a member, you're actually registering a work, which I'll explain in how to become a member.
Okay.
And this work that you'd be registering, people must be able to inspect so as to be able to oppose in case you are now registering work that belongs to someone else. So those prospective members are still undergoing that process, but we have a database of over 400 artists who have already expressed interest in becoming members.
Okay.
So the first 50 was just to pilot the process itself. And now we're moving into a phase where the 400 will then be allowed to partake. And then because we're also developing an online platform that will allow for a comprehensive national rollout, we'll then roll that out in which other people can apply. Now, how you become a member, in essence, you need to have an eligible work. When I say work, I mean copyright, of course. So whether it's a song, whether it's a book, whether it's a film, whatever type of copyright that you have, so long as it is eligible, that is, it's original and it's been fixated, you can register that together with your application to become a member of the society. And currently, as I mentioned, there are artists who have already expressed that they are partaking in the second round of applications, and we will roll it out nationally. I know there's a lot of artists who are waiting to line up to be part of the society, but we also want to do it in a way that will manage the volumes, and we envision that being an online platform. So once that is set up, we'll be inviting the public to also engage in those applications and submitting those applications for membership.
Many thank you so much for your time. I'm happy with the number of prospective or people that are really keen to be a part of what you guys are doing. I guess that validates the work that you do. But also importantly, I love the criteria of really noticing if there's ever any form of infringement there. I think it would have been hypocritical if that was in there. Melihlanze, Executive Director, thank you so much for your time. We have market analysis after the break. To stay with us.